Have you ever met a guy who claims, "I'm not really the emotional type," and then all of a sudden he calls you just to hear your voice? Yes, your scent did not win him over. He struck an emotional nerve. He was unaware of its existence. In actuality, males pretend to be in control of their emotions, yet behind the top in this video, emotional magnets that operate automatically are drawing them in. I'm going to share 10 hidden emotional triggers that give males a strong sense of connection. Even if they are unable to comprehend why these aren't tricks, they're how you develop a genuine, long-lasting relationship with a man without engaging in pretend play. Or trigger number 6. Let's just say that it directly targets the area of his brain that whispers, eschewing rationality and ego. It's her, so let's get started. Why is this important at all? Because let's be truthful, that person who claims he's not seeking for something serious is someone you've seen. Then you meet someone, and all of a sudden, he's all in. It wasn't her appearance or good fortune. It was the points of emotional access. Unknowingly, she noticed that most women are trained to attract males. However, you don't know how to connect with them in a way that makes them think of you when you're not around. Keeps him invested rather than out of duty, but because there's something about you that makes me feel at home. Let's examine the first 3 emotional triggers, beginning with a seemingly straightforward one. However, the majority of individuals never really do what I see to be the true you trigger. The majority of men wear masks throughout their lives because they are expected to be strong and capable, not because they are fake. There is a version of him inside, but he is stoic and never shows signs of weakness. The unfiltered version is never seen. The doubtful one, nightmares, anxieties, and even an odd sense of humor. He only expresses himself to his dog when you recognize his true self, not the well-groomed man or the provider. However, the human being beneath him has a sense of security. He doesn't often have experiences. This is the key. Don't merely give him praise. When he's not acting, take note of who he is and remark something like, "Most people probably see you as super confident. However, I sense that there's a peaceful, serene part of you that thinks far more deeply than you reveal when you look into his eyes." At that point, the mask comes off, and emotional attachment starts. To his ego's soft rejection. Surprisingly, one of a man's most powerful emotional triggers is when a woman doesn't unquestioningly support his ego. Yes, men are accustomed to being respected, complimented, or ignored, but when a woman respectfully confronts him or maintains her position, it does something crazy that makes him respect it. For men, respect is the cornerstone of emotional relationship. However, it must be done correct, but with calm certainty rather than snark or attitude. For instance, if he makes a big and perhaps arrogant declaration during a conversation, you can say, rather than simply nodding and grinning. "I'm not certain. Although I agree with it, I'm willing to hear your perspective." You didn't flatter or attack. Guess what? You're no longer simply another lady who feeds his ego after you gracefully challenged him. It's you who sticks out. He starts pursuing you, not because you rejected him. However, he now wants your approval because of you. 3 is the shared secret effect, which occurs when you tell a man a secret and elicit his emotional allegiance without ever using the term love. No, not a very dark trauma dump, is just a somewhat intimate affair. Because it triggers his protective instinct, you don't tell everyone why. It says, "I trust you," and when you do, he feels accountable to you. Let's imagine that you nonchalantly end a late-night call. "I get anxious around others, though I don't typically confess it." Boom is someone I admire. You just gave him a key. Your grin isn't the only thing on his mind. He's considering your layers. He's telling himself in private, "She opened the door for me. I can't make a mistake." Every time he recalls that shared secret, it becomes an emotional pillar. He feels more intimate with you. For the effect of a gentle landing. To be honest, life isn't always easy. Even when they're breaking within, the world shouts, "Man up." They are expected to carry weight, solve problems, and never crack. Imagine that he's had a demanding day. He is silent. Perhaps even farther away, the majority of people either push him to speak or retreat. However, you say something like, "Just sit, you don't need to explain. It's a soft landing, I promise. There's no pressure. Just modest assistance and emotional presence, no expectations additionally." Even though he might not say anything, he is mentally linking you to safety and peace. Men don't bond with someone who makes them feel admired in an environment where they don't have to perform. They become attached to the person who brings them comfort. The gentle landing accomplishes this during the micro-connection times. Have you ever had a moment with someone where nothing significant happened, but it still sticks with you? That's what I refer to as a micro-connection. The small moments that go unnoticed but have a profound impact. When words are not necessary, a swift hand squeeze across a packed room. He laughed at his joke even though he didn't find it humorous. These don't exude romanticism. However, guys who are trained to repress their emotions react when they whisper tenderness. You develop emotional familiarity when you often generate these moments, deep down to that whisper. That's how you end up being the person he thinks of when he has no idea why he is thinking of anyone at all, the mirror of masculinity. This may sound strange, but bear with me, men ask themselves this question all the time. I gauge their success not only at business or in life, but also in their relationships, and when a woman arrives with gentle assurance, this is where you come in. His masculinity is reflected back to him by feminine energy that is receptive, peaceful, and open. It's not because you're bolstering his ego that he feels more like a man around you. However, because your energy complements his, you're not attempting to control or compete, rather, you're just showing up, and that balance produces emotional polarity. Push-pull chemistry that goes beyond simple attraction gives men who are accustomed to harsh edges in life depth. The contrast of your gentleness is what draws them back. Most men don't fear commitment when we're a team. They fear being by themselves in a commitment. They've witnessed relationships in which it's me versus you rather than us versus the issue. Therefore, everything changes when a woman arrives with a team mentality. Imagine that instead of stating, "You'll figure it out," he is raving about a difficult decision at work. "Let's discuss it," you say. "Well, figure out how to use small words." "We will, and that will change the game." It gives him a signal. I'm by your side, not in front of you, so you're not alone in this. This kind of emotional support is uncommon. And he will defend it as soon as he senses it. You're more than just his girl, so hell nurture it and do whatever it takes to keep you. When you emotionally surprise him, you're his partner bonus trigger. Take a man by surprise with kindness if you want to truly stick in his emotional memory. Allow me to clarify, he talks candidly about a setback. He feels embarrassed, and rather of passing judgment, you reply, "That must have been difficult. I'm proud of how you handled it." He anticipated uncomfortable quiet or guidance from your emotional approval. Or perhaps you text him first after a battle to re-establish contact rather than to win. In both situations, you shocked him with grace rather than drama or guilt. At 2 in the morning, he will recall it. When he's driving home and considering what makes you unique, that's how he will feel. Strong emotional warmth that comes as a surprise. That will never be forgotten. The actual question is as follows: better yet, which of these emotional triggers have you been exploiting without realizing it? Which one would you most like to try first? If you would like more candid insights on how guys truly think, feel, and fall, please let me know in the comments section. I have read them. Make sure the notification bell is on and hit the like and subscribe buttons. Because, trust me, they'll be dissecting the 7 things men say only when they're genuinely emotionally committed. That's one you won't want to miss. See you there.